Good morning. So, I have been having like these very intense dreams since I can remember. And I really didn't dig spiritually into what they meant or if they even came from God until more recently. And he started telling me to write them down. So, whenever I have a dream, I write the time, the day, and then everything I can remember from that dream as soon as I wake up. Now, sometimes I kind of forget, but for the most part, when you're doing something like this, you want to go ahead as soon as you can write it down because you don't want to forget certain details. Because when you interpret, if you don't have all the information, the interpretation may be wrong. And so I thought it would be fun to interpret my dream with you guys. Now, before you get a little angsty, just know that I did ask permission from God to do this and share it with you. So here we go at 2 o'clock a.m. this morning. Well, 2:10 to be specific. Um, I wrote down, I was in jail. I was released but afraid to leave. Among some storage or boxes, like in another room, an inmate who was already released before me, like way before me, uh, came out of hiding. She said she'd been there for a while. And so I stayed too because I didn't want to leave. It was comfortable. I didn't have any like bad experiences. Now this is in the dream. And this is like what I know in the dream world, in the dream world. And so I dressed like the inmates and I was back home again, like comfortable, not in my home, but just comfortable in jail. But the warden found me, and I think I may have lasted like a day or two. Now, this girl, she had been there for a while, like she had been released a long time ago. But me, I only lasted like a day or two pretending to be an inmate. There was a celebration of some sort, and I knew if I went to that celebration, I would be found out. They would find me. So instead, I stayed and I changed clothes. More specifically, I changed my shoes and I was getting into like these maroon slippers, something that you would like buy from the dollar store or the hair store. But the warden found me and my punishment was solitary confinement. And when I got out, so the solitary confinement in the dream, I feel like the time was a year. But when I got out, the celebration was continuing on, and there were two girls in a dispute when an officer stepped in. Um, so this celebration took place where we were in the jail. Now we're at a high school cafeteria. And there's this rule about no long nails. So I guess the dispute was about that. And one girl thought the other girl kind of snitched on her. And so when the officer stepped in, she was like, these are my nails. And he's like, well, because the officer was a female. She was like, that's too long. She was reprimanded. But the girl with the long nails was like, okay, but she got them too. You're not going to do anything about that? And when when she asked for the other girl, and this other girl, she reminds me, or she looked like someone from my high school. So basically, I knew her look. The girl with the long nails, I didn't know her. But the other girl I knew, she had fists, and then she opened her nails to reveal that they were shorter. So she did not get in trouble. And then that was the end of my dream. But right off the bat, I know that being in jail, being released, hiding, being among the storage boxes, changing clothes, feeling comfortable in jail, the warden, the celebration that they were having, the change of shoes. That's I think that's a good one too. Maybe not a so good one, but it's important. Solitary confinement, two girls, the nails and their hands, and the reprimanding for those long nails. Those are all important. I don't quite yet know what they mean, but I'm about to make a choice where I, let's just say, I'm coming out of making some bad choices, right? And basically punishing myself for them. So I've been out of that, or I've been, what's the word? I've repented, basically. And now I'm getting out of it. And I'm kind of scared of this freedom. I'm scared of living and being free. So I go back to my old life because it's comfortable and familiar, which is not good. Now, I haven't made any decisions or I haven't done anything that I feel like is wrong, but this is the dream. And I do know that God sometimes sends me these dreams to say, hey, open your eyes and pay attention because you're about to do something you don't want to do. So let's get into this interpretation. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so from all of that, let's go back. I was in jail, a place of depression, severe punishment, limited mobility, stronghold, bondage, and I was released, but afraid to leave, to do something new, leaving my comfort area, my past life, my old life. Among storage boxes, another inmate who was released came out of hiding. She said been there for a while. Wait a minute now, because this was an unknown woman. And I didn't highlight it. I highlighted the storage in the boxes and coming out of hiding, but I didn't highlight another inmate, someone who's in that life. The woman unknown is a messenger from God or Satan. She can be an angel or demonic spirit or a seducing spirit. And this woman is telling me to do the things that I'm used to. So I definitely don't think that woman is of God or a messenger of God. Anyways, she said she'd been there for a while, so I ended up staying too. She could do it, I can do it. And I dressed like the inmates. I put a covering on that did not belong to me. And I was back home again in my comfort area. But the warden found me, an officer, a person with the ability to keep me on the right path. And when she found me, I hadn't even been in this world long, or I haven't been back to this old life long. I maybe was dressing up like an inmate for a day or two, but on this day there was a celebration of sorts. It wasn't a graduation. It wasn't an end of anything. It was just an event. I knew if I went to this celebration, I'd be found out because I was not supposed to be there. I was not supposed to be there. So I stayed and I changed into clothes, like outside clothes, which again, it's covering. These are the clothes I'm actually supposed to be in, whether it's pure or impure. But more specifically, there was a focus on the shoes, and the shoes means technically shoes mean to prepare to spread the word. But I was slipping into some maroon slippers. They were cheap and they weren't bad looking, but they weren't my style either. But anyway, the slippers, it meant I was trying to be a little bit too comfortable. Um, and it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. Just stay with me. Stay with me. So, but when the warden found me, my punishment was solitary confinement. So my waiting season. Well, I don't know if it's like a waiting season, single season. When I got out, the celebration was still continuing. So just because I'm in this season alone does not mean I'm missing anything. I'm right on time. Because remember, Jesus died for our sins. And all of our mistakes, they're already accounted for. They're already accounted for. So, as the celebration is continuing on, two girls were in a dispute. Witnesses, confirmation, division. When an officer, someone with authority to keep on the right path, steps in, and now by the rules, no long nails, right? Long nails is a lack of care. It's doing things not in proper order. One girl, her hands are flared out. That spiritual sensitivity. She had short nails, which was in the rules. But so she had pride. So the shorter nails, which was in line with the rules, she had her fists first. When the officers asked to see them, she opened her hands. And so there was, with those clenched fists, that's pride. She had pride in the fact that she was doing the right thing. But she was still wrong for being in that dispute with the girl with the long nails. Followers of Christ, remember, we are not supposed to be arguing or fussing, going back and forth with non-believers. Okay. So now, a reminder, this is in a high school, a time of moving into a higher level walk with God. A high school cafeteria, a period of spiritual nourishment. So what does that say? What is God trying to tell me? He is trying to tell me that, yes, I made mistakes before, but I'm choosing to walk with Him. And it is going to make me uncomfortable and going back and forth, trying to do things that I used to do, trying to be comfortable in this. It's not gonna work. That doesn't. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna work. If I'm going to choose to walk His path, I have to walk that path. It doesn't matter who I lose. It doesn't matter what I lose. I need to walk that path. But in walking that path, in doing the right things, living by Christ, I do not need to be prideful. It does not make me better than somebody else. This is a time of freedom, of celebration. Celebration. So before I start choosing to do things that I used to do, I need to remember that that is not me. That is not who I am anymore. And I need to forget it. And I need to be happy in choosing to follow Christ. I need this time of celebration. Before starting this, I did have my devotion. And I told God that I thought it meant that I told God that I think that this dream was me being in a cage and you gave me freedom, and yet I'm choosing to stay, or I'm about to choose to stay within that cage because of comfort. And I told him that I want you to know that I do not want to be in that cage. I want freedom. I want to rest in your arms, hold your hand, and walk with you down the path that you have set before me. And so he directed me to Matthew 1. And that was basically telling the father side of Jesus, giving the line of generations on the father side for Jesus Christ. And it ended with, He will save His people from His sins, meaning that cage that I was in was not from Him. That was not Him. And I had the power all this time to walk out because Jesus, He gave His life for our sins. And all I had to do was just walk with Him. Just get on up out that cage, out that jail, and walk with Him. If you have any more thoughts on this, if I missed anything, please comment. Let me know what you think. Again, give a like, give a share, give a follow. Thank you and have a blessed day.